Determine the exact values of the 6 trig ratios for 420, and then B, determine the approximate values for 586. What's going to happen is, like I said, we're going to do the unit circle, and some of these questions are better after we've done the unit circle. So for right now, we're only going to do 2B. And we're going to need our calculators, so if you have your calculator handy, take that out. So for 2B, we want to find the approximate value of all 6 trig ratios of 586 in standard position. So first of all, I'm going to draw 586. That would go all the way around, would be 360, and then you would have to go another 226 more. That's what 586 degrees looks like. 360 plus another 226 degrees more. So it's going to end in quadrant 3. Now they want you to find all 6 trig ratios, so they want you to find what sine of 586 degrees, cos of 586 degrees, and tan of 586 degrees. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our calculator. So once we have our calculator out, we want to first make sure that our calculator is in degrees. So if you have your calculator out, you can hit the mode button and check to see if your calculator is in radians or degrees. My calculator right now is in radians, so I just need to go over, push enter on degrees, and now it's on degrees. To get out of this screen, second, and then above the mode button it says quit, and that brings you back to here. So now when I write sine of 586 degrees, it tells me it's negative 0.719. So I write that down, negative 0.719 as my first answer. If I want to find cos of 586 degrees, cos 586, notice that if you don't close your bracket, the calculator is smart enough to know that you wanted to. Negative 0.695. Of course, these are all being rounded to the nearest thousandth. And finally, tan of 586 is 1.036. Now I'm going to do the reciprocals of each of these right beside. So cosecant of 586, reciprocal of cos is secant of 586, and the reciprocal of tan is cotangent of 586. And now we go to our calculator and we spend the next 4 hours looking for the cosecant button. But there is none. There is no cosecant button. So we have to remember that cosecant is 1 over sine. So if we want to find out what cosecant is, we can write 1 over sine. Now there's 2 ways of doing 1 over sine. You can do 1 divided by, but right now I want you to get used to writing fractions as fractions. So if you have the newest operating system, go alpha y equals. So I hit the alpha button and then y equals, and this menu comes up. And the very first one, n over d, if you push enter, it actually sets up a fraction, which is really nice because now you can type things in the top of the fraction, the bottom of the fraction, and not have to remember adding extra brackets. Life will be easier. You'll make less mistakes. So I'm going to go 1 over, and I'm going to write sine of 586. And I get negative 1.390. And that's how we can find cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So for secant, I'll do that same thing. I'll get my fraction button, alpha y equals 1 divided by cos 586, negative 1.4. If I round that to 1,000, it's going to be negative 1.440. And finally, cotangent 1 over tan of 586, 0.966. And we have all 6 trig ratios to the nearest thousandth. Notice something. Do you see how our angle ended in quadrant 3? Okay? Your cast rule says in quadrant 3, sine should be negative, cos should be negative, tan is positive. And with your reciprocal functions, positive and negative stays the same. So if sine is negative, cosecant is negative. If cos is negative, secant is negative. If tan is positive, cotangent will be positive. So the only one for homework right now from this is 7b.